Today, I'm going to prove to you that upcycled clothing doesn't have to be scrappy. It can be elevated, luxurious, unique. It's not a patchwork quilt. We're not making a tote bag. This is going to be a garment that's ready to walk down a runway. New garment using old clothes can feel a lot like trying to write a novel using newspaper clippings. It could end up a work of art, or it could look like a ransom note. These pants are so far beyond what I had imagined they were going to be. The design came before I decided to use old clothing. Didn't have a bunch of leather lying around, but I did have a bunch of old clothing that I hadn't worn. If dead stock and thrifted fabric comes with its challenges, working with old garments is even more restrictive because you're so incredibly limited by the amount of material you have. I had to be incredibly meticulous in how I took apart these pieces to make sure that I preserved as much of the fabric as possible. The plan is to use this trouser shape that I designed that I'm wearing today, and panels just like are on the sketch. I have a blazer, a shirt, and two former pairs of pants. None of them have full pieces of fabric that would extend all the way down the leg. This is gonna feel a lot more like a puzzle since I'm gonna have to take sections and then put them all together. But who doesn't love a good puzzle? In order to get the trouser shape I want, I'm cutting strips, but I think I'm missing a piece because at this point I don't have enough green faux leather that was a shirt. Make two full pieces here without another seam. I solved one problem. I found the missing piece of green leather, but I have found another problem. I was planning on using this white faux leather. This already has a bunch of transfer on it, but I have a solution. I have this bright pink faux leather from a pair of trousers that don't fit anymore. That will change our color palette. Last episode, I said something about we deserve clothing that's free from plastic. And here I am making a pair of trousers entirely out of plastic. But I think that is the ethos of sustainable fashion and upcycling. How do you work with the faux leather? It's not dissimilar from working with actual leather. When you poke holes in it, they are permanently there. Can you iron it and should you iron it? Yes, actually. But how do you iron plastic? Very carefully. You have that fabric backing, but at the same time, I would never want my iron to touch the plastic directly. That can melt it, of course. I have a setting on my iron for it, a pressing cloth to keep the iron from touching the plastic. Love the look that's coming together with this piece. It is giving me a little bit of like a motorcycle vibe, which I'm not mad about. Usually the design process goes like this. You have an idea, you sketch it out, you know what it's gonna look like, and then the magic is you can actually bring it to life. It looks exactly how you would expect it to. But then there is this occasional thing where you have an idea, you sketch it out, and as you're making it, you feel like you're just watching something come to life. You know it was your idea, but it just turns out even better. And that's how these trousers are coming together. Originally, I had not been planning on having them being fitted at the top, but as I had them cut out, was working on them, I realized that these are meant to be butt-hugging pants. They have to be butt-hugging pants. So we're gonna make them butt-hugging pants. As it turns out, my sewing machine couldn't handle 4 layers of faux leather, and it just started chewing through the fabric. So I'm going back and doing that final top stitch on the sewn pant leg of the pink piece by hand, because it's really the only way to do this without destroying the fabric. I did have to do a few little teeny repairs, which I wasn't too happy about, but we have definitely crossed into couture territory now that we are hand stitching some seams, but it's going to be worth it. The pants turned out pretty wonderfully. My only critique, I would say, is I used a jean zipper, and I think it might be a little bit too just thick for the leather, and I might swap it for snaps all the way down. They have an internal waistband because I didn't want to ruin that line, but I'm really happy with how they turned out. We've gone over the power of upcycling and the need for it, but is upcycling really scalable? The answer is yes. 2 great brands are already making this happen. One is Rave Review. They're a Swedish brand that is being honored for sustainability in the upcoming Copenhagen Fashion Week. They use home textiles that are upcycled and high fashion design. And then another brand, if you're a fashion girly, you definitely know who they are, Chopova Lowena, famous for their pleated skirts. I actually didn't know that their garments were upcycled until the Vogue article that I read. A lot of the textiles for the skirts reuse tablecloths and things, which is totally up my alley because I too, when I see a tablecloth, think that would be a fabulous pleated skirt. Obviously. Vogue did a good analysis of the textile report we were discussing earlier, and one of their takeaways was that there are so many jobs that could come out of adding recycling functions. It's something that I have always cared about, even before I started this collection building journey. Textile waste is always something that's on my mind. The first crochet pattern I put out was a scrap yarn hoodie, how to use your leftover yarn scraps. But as somebody who wears fashion, it should be on all of our minds. How can we build and support brands that are eliminating excess waste? How do we make it circular? If you know of any incredible brands that are upcycling we can support, or have any ideas for creative ways we can incorporate upcycling, like, let's keep this conversation going. We're not just designing fashion here or designing the future of fashion. Together we can make it a sustainable one. So thanks for watching this week's episode. There are only 2 weeks left and I can't wait to share. I'll see you in next week's video, but in the interim I'll probably see you in the comments. Until then.